What's up, guys? And I'm live. It's been a minute. Holler at me. Let me know if you're in the chat box. I'll be answering all.
What's up, guys?
Whoa, reverb. I'll be answering all random questions today. All right. Let me get this baby set up. Bear with me. Getting the audio video lined up. All right, cool. All right, guys, if you can hear me, say yes in the chat box. And if you can see me, say yes. And if you have any questions, put in the chat box. Yes, yes, yes. Yup, yup, yup. All right, cool. Cool. Awesome. Can't see you. Well, it's on your end. Everyone sees me. Seeing and hearing you okay. Sweet. All right, I'm going to be trying to do the questions first come, first serve. So, and I won't be answering any questions if it's related towards investing. There's many, many other people who can definitely help you out. First question is from Hatham. Amir, what do I think about the business model of O-Chain? That's the first time I've heard of O-Chain, so I can't comment on that. Sorry. Second question from Philippe. General thoughts on trends in blockchain application for supply chain. I'm personally working on a bunch of things related towards that. Private chains, so private blockchains for supply chain are very interesting. They save a lot on overhead and a lot of on they're really proficient on data tracking. So there's a lot of good use cases for it. But you don't need an open source permissionless. It's all permissioned blockchains, private, closed. Question from Jay. Can I ask you what you think about asset-backed cryptocurrency ICOs? Asset-backed. What do you mean by asset-backed? Like equity, like a security token, or asset-backed as in they're pegging their token to real estate? So there's many different variations or definitions of asset-backed. What do I think of Verge opening the door to all crypto for mass adoption? How are they opening up the door for mass adoption? I don't understand. Mass adoption is still a big problem. For example, even if you can, okay, I'll give you guys an example. You can buy crypto right now, right? You can go to any exchange, or you can go to local Bitcoins, or you can go to whatever your means of buying. What are you doing with that crypto, right? No one really accepts it for merchants. You're not utilizing on a day-to-day basis. Same with the dApps. I'm actually making presentations soon about dApps. No one uses dApps, and most of the dApps are in gambling anyways. So when it comes to mass adoption, it's more than just creating the crypto. It's use case, it's ease of use, it's taxation rules, it's legalization rules. Like, for God's sakes, Iran just yesterday banned Bitcoin. So, we have a long way to go before we hear mass adoption. Real estate for Jake. Real estate would be a good example. So this is a good question for the real estate. I think tokenizing real estate is really interesting. I'm a real estate investor, been in it for a while. One of the biggest problem is, I'll give you a real case problem when it comes to real estate. So for example, in Toronto, the minimum house in Toronto is $1 million. And so for you to buy this $1 million house, you need to put down 20%. So that's $200,000. I don't know about you, but I don't know too many people walking around with $200,000. That being said, they got to leave the city. So if it's under $1 million, they can put down 5%. But then again, their mortgage is crazy and they need insurance. So a lot of people are getting priced out of real estate. So the question is, like, a lot of people might have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on the side that they want to invest. And traditionally speaking, they really couldn't invest in real estate unless they can't, join a big syndicate, unless they took some crazy type of lien or risk. But imagine having a house where I just want to invest maybe a percentage of my cash into the house, where a token represents fractional ownership of real estate, where me as an individual can put 5% into that real estate house or property or whatever, and maybe get 0.1% ownership of that house. Imagine having that whole system streamlined on a CRM online, where I know exactly my equity stake. I know what's happening with the value of the house. It's almost like a dashboard for the investment portfolio that you have, and it's all fractionalized. And what's amazing about this too is, traditionally speaking, the only way you as a real estate investor can get money back, depending on the thesis of how you invest, is two ways. One, you can be an investor when it comes to cash-rich properties. So you're buying, whether it's big apartment buildings or condos, but you're full out buying the whole building. And so you're getting checks when it comes to rent per month, or duplexes, triplexes, or fourplexes. Or more or less, maybe you go to smart centers and you're getting the H&Ms and ZARs that come in. That's one type of investor. Then second investor would be a buy and hold investor, where you're arbitraging long periods of time. But that makes your cash stuck. So imagine though, with a token that represents fractional ownership of a real estate, where you and I now have the options of selling our fractional ownership towards other investors. If they don't want to buy, it opens up to the public markets, where the public markets can come in and buy our fractional ownership. So the whole property doesn't have to sell, which traditionally has to be done right now, where you can just sell fractional ownership. I think that's big, fascinating, amazing, and I'm excited to see that happen. Dry desert. They have something. So you're saying they started something in China? Well, these platforms are kind of existing already. I'll tell you the issue when it comes to legality. So, for example, let's say I have my house right now, or we have this investment building, fractional ownership. It's on smart contracts, and they say, "Hey, we're selling $1 million. The property is worth $1 million USD. You can buy it in Ether or Bitcoin." And I come in and I buy 2%. You still have to take that legal paperwork and go to City Hall and prove that you have the ownership of the paper, right? The deed, etc. And say you want to sell that token now, and you bought the original token, let's say for $5,000, but you're selling your token for $7,000. That's capital gains tax, right? The $2,000 you made profit. Well, it's great. The smart contract executed, you sold it pretty quickly. You still have to go to City Hall and do your taxes, right? So it's double work. The only way this will really work if the legacy system, so government software, opens up and allows us to tap into it, so we don't have to do twice as work, right? So I don't see this happening, more or less, in North America. Maybe like small city states like Singapore or Dubai or Hong Kong, or even maybe Guangzhou in China can do it. But you can't have one with the other. Both, you have to integrate, unfortunately, with the government systems. Opinions on electronium. I have no opinions. I haven't studied it, nor will I study it. So that's that. Let's see, some questions are coming in. As financial markets suffer, crypto will rise. Do you think there'll be a separation of money and state? I don't think so. As financial markets suffer, crypto will rise. Because remember, crypto is still hedged towards a USD greenback. Imagine if the USD greenback collapses tomorrow, what will happen? Crypto will crash. Another thing to take into consider, a majority of the liquidity, it comes from centralized exchanges, which defeats the whole purpose of crypto in the first place. If you look at Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper, it's meant to be peer-to-peer, not person to entity, entity to next person, right? And so the governments can easily come and subpoena, for example, let's say Kraken, Bittrex, Binance, the big one, Coinbase, CoinSquare over here, and it's like, hey, you're not allowed to do business anymore. What would happen to liquidity? It'll crash. The price will crash. That doesn't mean crypto is over. It just means that's a massive bottleneck in getting crypto. That's why I'm quite bullish on decentralized exchanges, local Bitcoins, ATMs, stuff that people can get crypto personally from another person or another, let's say, machine or card, without me having to go through my Visa and KYC and all this crazy stuff to buy like $5 worth of Ether. Um, Tokenizing REITs becoming popular, from Adam. Yeah, that'll be interesting. But then again, like, REITs are liquid already, right? So if people are wondering what a REIT is, it's a real estate investment trust. And so you can, Vanguard's one, for example, in the States, you can go right now and buy as much stock as you want of any REIT, and I can cash out my REIT anytime I want. So I see more or less tokenization of private real estate more beneficial than already publicly traded stocks, right? Because that private real estate is locked. It can't really move, right? It's dead cash or unlocked capital. The only difference maybe with I don't know if tokenized REIT will unless there's a private REIT, unless you and I create a private REIT where we have a basket of private real estate, that would make sense. But if it's a pre-existing REIT, I don't think so it makes sense to tokenize. From M.O. Moika. Thank you, brother or girl. Don't know. Sorry. I'm very bad with names. So dry desert, right mesh and other projects intend to decentralize internet access instead of internet service provider connection. Your device would simply connect to any other device. Yeah, I know right mesh. You're from Vancouver. There's other people working, like the phone protocol is interesting where it comes to geocaching. But remember, at the end of the day, this is still, they're very nascent technologies. They don't have the volume or the bandwidth as we're accustomed to on the internet, nor accustomed to, for example, 5G or 4G right now. So very slow when it comes to data packs. And so I wouldn't bet on it right now. Is it a necessity? Is the internet protocols broken? Yes, they haven't updated in a very long time. It's very difficult to update. Do I think there's better ways? Yes. But remember, it's all about the network effect, how many people use it, how secure is it, and how fast data can roam through this. Andreas, could the government shut down decentralized exchanges if they wanted to? Not necessarily. It's like the Hydra or Medusa's head. If you cut down one snake, four appears or three appears. And so, for example, like with the 0x or Kyber network, or however you want to pronounce it, you have relayers, you have nodes, you have order books, you have liquidity providers of crypto, you have liquidity providers of cash. Each of them behave as an individual operator on that system. And so basically for a government to shut down, they would have to find every single operator and shut them down. But then any operator can go in there. And that's the whole point of a decentralized exchange. It's not exchange. So let me substitute the word exchange. Don't think the word exchange, think platform. So imagine you can just sign up and become whatever you want. If you want to become a provider of fiat or crypto, or you want to be a relayer, or if you want to be an order book to connect to people who want to buy and sell, no one's stopping anybody. So no, I think it's quite difficult. Can they make it difficult for people to use it? Yeah. Can they completely shut it down? At this current state, yes. But I think the more and more the network grows, the harder it'll become. What's my thoughts on Hashgraph? Hashgraph is private and they can do what they like and they have a bunch of patents. So I think maybe Hashgraph will be more or less used for enterprise clients. From Mad Crypto, have I microdose LSD? Microdose LSD, microdose Iboga, microdosed psilocybin. What else have I microdosed? Probably forgetting some other stuff, but those are the major ones. Okay, 1 second. Just going through the questions. From Surecar, what do I think the biggest use case for blockchain will be in the next 5 years? The biggest use case, guys, is still for us to figure out how to make Bitcoin work, right? Bitcoin, I want Bitcoin to succeed. I want Bitcoin to be an immutable, censorship-resistant ledger that offers peer-to-peer communication. Because what money is communication. And I want to be able to send money to people in Iran that Bitcoin's banned right now to help them out. And I don't want the government to know who they are. I want privacy to be very important. And so that's what I'm very bullish on. I want Bitcoin to work, and it must work. So from Victor Hansen, best books related to blockchain. The space moves so fast. I wouldn't bother with books. I don't want to toot the horn, but honestly, check out Blockgeeks. We have guides every week or twice a week, and we spend quite some time on creating the best, most up-to-date guides. From Alex, proof of work or proof of stake? Both. It all depends on use case. It's not one or the other. It's not chicken or the, well, chicken and egg is which one came first. Proof of work for Bitcoin works. Proof of stake for Ethereum works. Well, it will work, as they say. Hybrid chains of the future, proof of work and proof of stake. I think each of them are very individualized and it's very difficult to compare. I like it. I like the proof of work on Bitcoin exists, where the cost incentive for you to join the network costs you millions of dollars. And these millions of dollars, the incentivization for people to support the network is there. Will EOS users defeat blockchain Ethereum? I don't know. Well, EOS defeat. It's not a zero-sum game in the space. Let me put it that way. It's funny how a lot of people make bold statements before networks even launch. Like even now, like the use cases for Ethereum pretty much are ICOs, right? Even Bitcoin's not. And that's why I'm going back to my statement I made a second ago. We still need to fix Bitcoin. And I'm very bullish on people working on Lightning Network. I'm very bullish people working on Shore signatures. I'm very bullish people working on really making a true peer-to-peer currency. Let me see. Next question's coming in. Do I think private blockchains without a token make sense? Yeah, for enterprise. So supply chain, logistics, digital identity totally makes sense. Central banks using cryptocurrencies as reserve currencies, I highly doubt that. If anything, they'll create their own. They wouldn't use reserve as they'll create their own. So from Jake, real estate backed ICOs, as you have explained, has a purpose. What would you say about a real estate backed coin that paid a dividend? So the token represents, well, if the token represents equity, so ownership, fractional ownership of that real estate, that is a securities, right? That has to be registered with the local government, both municipal, provincial, and federal, if it's real estate. So it's not on second exchanges. It's not on any, actually, it's not on main exchanges and on second tier exchanges. And so that's locked, invested. So yeah, I'm quite bullish on that. Like the whole point of that is it gives more optionality for people to have access to real estate deals where they could never. And also the fact that we need to eliminate the stupid thing of accredited investors. I hate that. I hate that labeling that you have to make X amount of money to invest and everybody else can't. Shit, questions are coming in fast. 1 second. These are big questions. Small window, big questions. Ryan, can I explain Cosmos in the hard spoon system? No, I can't explain it. I haven't gone too deep on Cosmos. I've gone deep, but not deep enough. Do I like Cardano? we made a guide on Blockgeeks. You can check it out. It's interesting. Listen, it's not about liking or hating. It's about get to work, ship your product, and see what it does. Simple as that. The market's always right. And not the market's always right as in the price of the market cap, because it's the stupidest fucking way to measure anything. The market's always right where you add value, where you're actually solving a real problem in the world and people are paying you to solve that problem. What do I think about the New York attorney asking for exchange info Kraken, saying goodbye, not complying? Well, I really like Kraken's response. New York is one of the most stringent states and cities possible. Can governments prevent vendors from accepting Bitcoin? Yes, they can. They just did that in Iran. And so it becomes tricky. But that's why I'm big on privacy. I like privacy coins like Monero, like Zcash. And so for me, I'm still looking at that. I'm very bullish on the developers working on these projects. What do I think of Canada's personal debt being greater than our GDP? Greater than whose GDP? Is Bitcoin private going anywhere? I haven't even looked into Bitcoin private. I won't even bother. How would a decentralized exchange be support fee? Say I want to buy. This is where you have buy and sell orders. So an individual would have to come in there as a provider of fiat, whether that is an ATM network, whether that is a private individual with their own bank, well, not their own bank, but their own bank account, or whether that's in person as well, right? But a private individual has to be the provider of the fiat. Alex, future stablecoins, who knows? A lot of competition right now. Well, there's three big ones. There's TrueUSD, there's Basis, which just raised 127, and there's MakerDAO. All of them are a little bit different. TrueUSD is pegged on the greenback, right? So it's collateralized with fiat. You have Basis, which is more or less a centralized smart contract system for with an algorithm. And then you have MakerDAO, which is collateralized right now with Ether. So for example, if you want one DAI, maybe you got to put in like, I don't know, 0.1 Ether. I think it's like a 2-for-1, right? Double collateralization. And they're expanding into collateralizing with assets such as gold. But it's a big experiment. We'll see what happens. What's the future of education systems? What do you think about the online universities and diplomas backed by blockchains? I think, well, one, I think diplomas are retarded. Well, I shouldn't use a word. I don't like the word retarded. It's a bad word. I think diplomas are useless. Let me put it that way. Useless. A piece of paper will tell other people how good you are. I'll give you an example. In my startup and many startups I work with, we don't ask for any accreditations. We don't care where you went. We just put you to work. If you can do the work, you get the job. So I think more and more as time goes by, people will realize that accreditations mean nothing. Diplomas mean nothing. What matters the most is put in the work, right? Do you actually know what you're talking about? Like, for example, with me, I'm self-learned. I never went to high school. Many of my developers are self-learned. Like they don't have any accreditation saying I'm the best developer. It's a fucking joke. They learn by themselves, right? And then more or less is your attitude, right? Going into a mindset of abundance as opposed to scarcity and realizing that that piece of paper on the wall does not dictate your future. That piece of paper on the wall does not tell you how much money you make. What tells you how much money you make is your genuine curiosity to keep on learning and your genuine curiosity to keep on growing yourself as a human being. Do I have a prediction for BTC at the end of the year? No, but I know Ari Paul said it might fluctuate from like 6K to 48K, right? 6K to 48K, big fluctuation. So that's his prediction. I think Chris Bernersky said something around the lines too. It's hard to predict. I don't speculate. I don't do tracking or TA technical analysis. I don't even pay attention to the price. What do I think about dApps on Ether? Do you think they can be profitable? I don't know what you mean by profitable. CryptoKitties was profitable. They took, I think, 4.5%. I think they made a million or two. They took 4.5% off the gas transaction fee. Right. So I think they're the only ones. Other than that, like I said, majority of the dApps are just decentralized exchanges and gambling. Like that's the use cases right now. I think it's like DApp Radar or something like that. They have all the statistics. Mad Crypto. I should be in Joe Rogan. One of my favorite, if not my favorite podcast. That podcast is hands down the best fucking podcast possible. Can altcoins overtake BTC dominance since their tech is starting to come online? I'm going to say no. I'm very bullish for Bitcoin. Simple as that. And not to mention, Bitcoin's the biggest network on the planet right now. So the most developers, the best developers, the biggest network, the most mind share, the most use cases, the most people holding it, the most people using it. Sterling, psilocybin or LSD, which I prefer? Oh, those are two different, very different. LSD takes you for a ride. It's like 12 to 14 hours, depending on how many hits you take. Psilocybin is like 3 to 4 hours. Well, it also depends on how much you take. I don't know. Psilocybin, personally, I would say psilocybin for me. Yeah, personally. I get more insight from it. Non-crypto question. Do I believe affirmations and visualizations help serotonin levels, or is it a short-term pump? Well, I think visualizations and affirmations are very important. The only dangers with affirmation and visualization is if you have to rely on like third parties. So meaning like people who always go to the Tony Robbins conferences, or who are always looking for a pep talk, or always reading books about motivation and etc. Like you're chasing this external high, right? You're looking for your next fix. Your fix needs to come from internally, right? If you're not self-motivated internally, nothing's going to motivate you externally. So the affirmation and visualizations, if they're part of your internal engine, your nuclear reactor pushing you, then yeah, man, they fucking help a lot. Mad Crypto and Adam, let me see. Yeah, I want to try DMT. Yeah, DMT is super fascinating. Different variations of DMT. You have 5-MOE DMT, which lasts a little bit longer. And you have other different variations of it. I once said that most utility tokens would go to zero. What would have happened? What would have happened to Bitcoin for that to happen? Because most altcoins seem to highly correlate to Bitcoin price. The reason why it's correlates, a couple of reasons. Majority of these altcoins are pegged to Bitcoin because people are speculating on the token to sell more of the token so they can buy more Bitcoin or Ether. That's the reason. And so you have different tokens. You have utility tokens, and you have payment tokens, right? Then you have membership tokens. You know, I think eventually we will see a depegging of Bitcoin from these tokens. And in fact, one of the reasons why they're creating stablecoins is for that reason. MDMA opinion. Ooh, I love it. Proper setting, pure quality, good music, a journal, good environment, candles. And if you have a lover, it's magic. Simple as that. But obviously, consult your physician and make sure everything is on par. Everything's good to go. Thanks for your comments about Jordan Peterson and became addicted. I'm learning a lot from his videos. Enjoy, man. Go down the rabbit hole. There's a lot to teach. MDMA about to become legal. Hopefully with MAPS, Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Research. They're finalizing their clinical trials right now, and their goal is by 2020 to have at least classified that for subscription so psychiatrists can give it out. You seem pretty buff. What your thoughts about SARMs? Oh, fuck. I forget what SARMs are. Is that the peptide SARMs? No, it's a selective androgen receptor modulator. Yeah. Honestly, I can't make an opinion for that. I haven't used them or researched them. I'm big on peptides. I'm big on HGH if needed, depending on your case and depending on how old you are, depending a lot of variables. Also TRT. A lot of men, testosterone is horrible, regardless of their age. So what that's like bioidentical hormone replacement therapy from like yams but yeah, they help. Swole the squat. Oh yeah, so he has something good over here. He just checked out DApp Radar. Seems like CryptoKitties has fallen to number 5. Seems like it's all about decentralized exchanges and a handful of games. Yeah, that's pretty much the ecosystem of DApps right now. Uh, ETN to the moon. I don't know what that is. I heard kratom is good, but can be addictive. Addictive. I don't know if kratom is addictive. No idea. I know what kratom is. I haven't researched if it has addictive properties. I've heard the opposite. I've heard kratom has taken people off opioids. What's my thoughts on tokens with masternodes? Yeah, with staking, and then masternodes might be used for also delegating. Then you have masternodes for voting. It depends. You have to ask yourself, what's the purpose of these masternodes? Why are they there? What's the use cases for them? What's the attack vectors for them? Can they be coerced with, different attack vectors? I don't know. You have to give me an example. There's so many different ones out there. All right, guys, I'm wrapping it up. I'll take one last question, then I got to head out. So one last question, guys. Hi, Amir. How can I approach you with an angel investment opportunity? It's a biohacking platform. Email me, and in the email, please include a lean canvas form, 1 page. I don't want a big pitch deck. I don't want to read 30 papers. I want 1 page. It's called the lean canvas model. And if you can explain to me on 1 page exactly the problem you're solving, how I make money, and why should I trust you as a human being, then we can talk. Favorite Toronto crypto company? Oh, there's too many to. There's no favorite. Everyone in Toronto is doing an awesome job. What do I think some misconceptions about entrepreneurship is? Don't know if you start a business, you'll succeed. I don't know. Like I'll give you the norm in North America. The norm entrepreneur is in his mid 40s. He has a business anywhere between 1 million to 5 million, and he has gone through bankruptcy at least once. That's the norm. The people that hear from Silicon Valley, those are the outliers. Not even outliers of outliers. The 0.1% of the percentage. Right? Being an entrepreneur is being insane, working 100 hours a week, putting your life on the line, literally putting your life on the line, right? Your mortgage is on the line if you have a house, all the cash you put into your business, right? Your health into the business, your emotional stress into the business, everything you put into business, right? You got to be not a little bit, you got to be a lot out there to start a business. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for your time. Talk to you tomorrow, guys. Peace.